Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of making a crochet jellyfish. This week what we're going to be doing is learning how to make little tendrils like you see here, and then learning how to assemble everything. Now first things first, we're going to be making some tendrils. You can make as many as you'd like, but I suggest making at least 5 or 6 to make it nice and full. So to do that, we're going to be making what's called a chain, and then using our single crochet stitch to do the increases. So let's show you how that'll work. Okay, so hold your yarn like so. Hold the loose end between your thumb and middle finger like so, and leave the loose end kind of long because it'll come in handy later. And hold the working end of yarn over your palm like so. So that's trapped between your thumb and middle finger, and it should be looped over your index finger. Okay, so to make that chain, go ahead and poke your hook through your yarn like so, and then the yarn should be looped over your hook like you see here. Twist your hook towards you and then back up again so it makes that little loop on your hook. Then go ahead and move your fingers up so you're holding tightly onto that initial little knot that you made. Because what we want to do is poke our hook through the yarn again, grab a little bit and pull it through. Now technically you can use this as your first chain, but I always like to pull it tight just to make it nice and secure. So make that into a little knot and then continue making chains. Now, to make a chain of this length, I did 25 stitches, and then you'll see later we'll do 3 single crochets in each stitch. So let me show you what I mean. So go ahead and grab a little bit of yarn, pull it through. There's your first chain. Again, I suggest maybe doing 25 to do a nice length, but I'll just do a few just to get you started on how to make those, just to give you a feel for how that'll look. Okay, so here we go. So I feel like that's a good length there. So you'll want to turn this sideways and it'll look kind of like braided hair. You'll want that braided side facing you because you'll be wanting to work in the top loops of all of these stitches. So go into the next one over on your left, poke your hook through just that top loop only, like you see here. Grab a bit of yarn, pull it up through, and again, just like we did our single crochets before, grab a bit of yarn and pull it through both of those loops. You might remember how we did our increases when we made our 2 pieces for the body. For that we only did 2 single crochets in the same stitch. This time we're going to be doing 3 because that's what makes that nice squiggly shape here. Okay, so we've got our first one in there. We're going to be wanting to do 2 more. So again, just through that same stitch, grab a bit of yarn, pull some more through those 2 loops, and do that again so that you have 3 single crochets through the same stitch, like so. Okay, so then go ahead and move on to the next chain over on your left. Same deal, go ahead and poke your hook through the top loop only, pull up a bit of yarn, and pull some more yarn through both of those loops. And again, do that 3 times per chain. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next one over. This is increase number 3. We're making 3 single crochets in the same stitch, just like we did with the first 2. And you'll see it's starting to curl a little bit. It won't curl a ton at first. That's okay, that's totally normal, because as you're working, you can use your right hand to kind of help encourage kind of that squiggly look. But it should do that naturally as you continue doing increases along your chain. So for the entire length of your chain. Again, just keep going, making 3 single crochets in each stitch. You'll see it's already starting to make that squiggly shape, which is what we want. That's a good sign. So just keep going all down the length of your chain, however long you made it. You see, there we go. It's already starting to squiggle up, which is very, very good. We want that. We want to see that. Okay, so once you've just continue to do that again all the way down to the end of your piece. I'll just show you here, just for length purposes. So to end your chain, once you've made your squiggle as long as you've wanted it, to tie it off, just grab a little bit of yarn, make a chain at the end of your last single crochet, and then snip your yarn. And I would suggest making this loose end long as well, because you'll see here, let me take this out of here. You'll see I left both loose ends kind of long, which that's what will help you out once you're ready to attach all your tendrils, because you'll want to take the flat part, the bottom of your jellyfish. This side should be facing out. This side should be facing inward, because what you'll want to do is you can position them however you like all along the base of your jellyfish. Grab your hook, poke it through the inside, through to the outside of your base. Grab one of those loose ends, pull it up tight, and then a couple stitches over, grab that other loose end, pull it through like so. So you'll see both loose ends are kind of hanging out here on the inside. You can go ahead and knot those. I always like to double knot mine just to make sure it's extra secure. And then you can trim those down if you'd like, but that doesn't matter so much because this will be on the inside of your jellyfish when you're ready to stuff it. So you'll see your tendril is kind of hanging out there on the bottom of your base. And again, you can position all the rest of the ones you make however you like on the bottom of your piece. Okay, so then if you want, we'll move on to the top of your, the dome part, the main part of your jellyfish. You can either leave it plain or you can make a little face on it if you'd like. You can do that with these little guys, which are called safety eyes. So to do that, if you choose to do this, what you'll want to do is you can poke them through any part of the front of your jellyfish. Again, this part will be with a little, you'll see the little V shapes of your single crochets. Those will be on the outside. The kind of more plain part should be on the inside. You'll see that's that loose end where you made your magic ring before. Again, you can trim those down if you want, but it doesn't matter so much since it's on the inside. Okay, so you have your first safety eye here. You can position your second one wherever you like so. And then you should have these little guys which help keep them secure. They just go over top here, and then you can push them down to secure them if you choose to. Okay, so mine fell out, but that's okay. And then if you choose, what you can do is just take a little bit of a different color. I have black string or yarn or anything like that. This one's kind of thick, so I'm going to pull it apart. But if you have like embroidery thread or something like that, you won't necessarily have to worry about that so much. But if you want to make a face so that it looks kind of like this guy, you can take your embroidery needle, go ahead and thread your black thread on there, like so. Sometimes it's a little difficult depending on the kind of thread or yarn you're using, but you can Again, from the inside, poke up, and then make a little line, angled line, like so, and then do the same for the other side in a little V shape. And then, there you go. And if you end up with like a little space between there, you can either leave it, or if you'd rather that be black as well, just go ahead and cover it with your black thread. Like so. Isn't that cute? Okay. So once you, and then again, you can choose to knot this if you like. You don't have to. Okay. So I won't worry about these two right now because I'll just give you a quick rundown on how to attach your pieces. So you have a couple options here. Whenever I made my bottom piece, I left a nice long tail that's still attached to the bottom piece. You can either do the same or just take a separate piece of yarn and cut a nice long length. And then use that to sew your pieces together. Okay, so then you'll also be wanting to use your fiberfill because you'll want to use, you don't have to use a lot to start with, but at least use enough so that it starts to make a little filled out dome shape. Okay, so I would suggest grabbing your bottom piece next. Let me find that tail that I made because you'll want to thread the loose end through your embroidery needle. Again, like so. Yeah, that's the only thing about yarn is that if it starts to fray like this when you're trying to thread it, you can either wet it with some water, or I'll just take some scissors to give us a nice sharp edge. Okay, so let's give that another go here. There we go. Okay, so you'll want to make that nice and like so. All right, so then you can start wherever you like. If you want a nice ruffled edges of your jellyfish, kind of similar to how this one looks, you can leave this kind of like flipped out like so and just use whatever loop you can find from one of the previous rows and poke that through. Or if you'd rather leave it plain, you can, you'll see this is still attached to your bottom. You can either, again, for a ruffled edge, go through, skip one row of stitches and go through a loop from a previous row, or you can go, for that plain edge, you can go through both loops of the very last row you did. So we'll do a ruffled edge on this one. So what we'll do is, again, just poke your needle through a loop from the second row in and just pull that nice and tight. And then you can reposition this so that it stays nice and flat, like so. And then what you'll want to do is go through both loops of your bottom flat piece, but only through that one loop of your previous row. Go ahead and pull that tight. And then just keep going with that along all the way around your jellyfish. And then as you're going, if you'd like to make this nice and stuffier, go ahead and when you've reached, I would suggest giving it at least until you've gone around here and you just have like a little bit of about that sized hole left. Go ahead and add some more stuffing in if you so choose. But again, once you have that, you've done your stitches all the way around, again, just pulling tightly like so and grabbing a little bit, tying it through, and then you'll want to make a knot. Again, I won't bore you with going all the way around, but just to give you an example of how to finish off your work when you are ready. What I like to do is whenever you are ready to, almost but not quite thread your working piece of loose end of yarn, like so that you have a little bit of loop. And before you pull that tight, what I like to do is poke the embroidery needle through, wrap some yarn around it a couple times, and then pull it tight. So it makes a nice tight finished off end like this. And then when you're all done, your little jellyfish should, oh, excuse me, look like this guy. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know how your little jellyfish turned out. You can email us or share with us on Facebook or Instagram how it turned out. And we will see you for our last project next week. Thank you so much. Bye.